Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt like you were meant for something greater? Like there's a calling on your life that you can't quite explain, but it won't leave you alone. Maybe you've faced struggles, rejection, or setbacks that made you question your purpose. But what if those challenges are actually signs that God has chosen you for something bigger? In this video, we're going to uncover 8 powerful signs that God has chosen you for success. These aren't just random events, they're divine indicators that you're walking a path designed by God Himself. If any of these resonate with you, it might just confirm what your heart has been trying to tell you all along. Let's get into it. 1. You face unusual challenges early in life. One of the most significant signs that God has chosen you for success is that you often face challenges early on in life, challenges that seem bigger than what anyone your age should handle. These challenges may feel overwhelming or unfair, but they are not without purpose. In fact, they are often divine preparation. When God calls someone to greatness, He doesn't always give them an easy start. Instead, He allows them to face adversity, struggle, or even failure in their early years. This isn't to punish you but to shape your character, build your resilience, and prepare you for the responsibility that comes with success. Think about someone who overcame difficult circumstances, like rising from poverty or enduring setbacks. Those struggles taught them things that success alone could never have taught. They learned patience, perseverance, and the strength to push through, no matter how many times they were knocked down. The challenges you face early in life may feel isolating, but they're actually preparing you to carry the weight of a larger purpose later. God often allows you to go through these trials to refine you, ensuring that when success does come, you'll be equipped to handle it with humility, grace, and wisdom. So if you've had a tough road, don't be discouraged. God is preparing you for something greater, and the hardships you face today will one day serve as your testimony of how He brought you through it all. 2. You have a strong inner calling or vision. Even when everything around you says, "Stay where you are," something inside keeps whispering, "You were made for more." That's not just ambition or wishful thinking, that could be a divine calling planted in your spirit by God Himself. People chosen by God often carry a vision that doesn't make sense to others. You might not have all the details, and you may not even know how it will happen, but you just know there's something you're meant to do. It's a fire that won't go out. Look at Moses. He was raised in Pharaoh's palace, but something inside him was drawn to the suffering of his people. Long before he ever heard God's voice from a burning bush, there was already a deep burden in his heart to bring change. That's how calling works. It doesn't always show up as a loud voice from heaven, it often starts as a quiet conviction that grows stronger over time. It pulls you toward purpose. It gives you dreams that feel too big for your current situation. And it refuses to let you settle for a small, ordinary life. If you've ever felt that restlessness, that deep sense that you're meant to build, lead, create, or impact others in a powerful way, don't ignore it. That's often a sign that God has chosen you and placed His vision inside of you. 3. Doors open where there should be none. Have you ever experienced opportunities that you didn't earn by qualifications, connections, or status, yet somehow, they opened for you anyway? That's not luck. That's divine favor. When God has chosen you for success, He'll make a way where there seems to be no way. God doesn't always follow human logic. In fact, He often works outside of it to prove that it's Him, not man, opening the doors. That means even when you're overlooked, underqualified, or counted out by others, God can still position you exactly where you're meant to be. Think of David. He wasn't even invited to the lineup when the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king. He was just a shepherd boy, out in the fields. But God opened a door no one saw coming and elevated him to a position of greatness. When you're chosen by God, you don't have to force your way in. Doors will begin to open in unexpected places, job offers, divine connections, opportunities to speak, lead, create, or serve, that align perfectly with your calling. You may even wonder, why me? But that's how God works. He opens supernatural doors that no man can shut, Revelation 3 verse 8. If you've seen things come together in ways you couldn't have planned or predicted, take that as a sign, God is moving on your behalf. 4. You have unusual favor with people. When God chooses you for success, one of the most obvious signs is the unusual favor you carry. People go out of their way to help you, support you, or believe in you, even when they don't fully know why. That's not coincidence. That's God's hand on your life. Favor means getting access, kindness, or opportunities you didn't necessarily earn by human standards. It's when you walk into rooms you never imagined being in, and people are drawn to trust you, bless you, or work with you. Just look at Esther in the Bible. She was just a young woman, but she found favor in the eyes of the king, and that favor positioned her to save an entire nation. She didn't get there by chance, it was God preparing her and placing her for a divine purpose. When you're chosen, people may see something in you that they can't explain. You may find mentors who support you, leaders who notice you, or strangers who offer opportunities at just the right time. That's not about charm or charisma, it's God's favor unlocking hearts and doors on your behalf. So if you've noticed people consistently going the extra mile to help you or elevate you, don't brush it off. That might just be God's way of saying, I've chosen you, and I'm surrounding you with the help you need. 5. You experience strong opposition. This one surprises many people, but it's a powerful sign. If you're constantly facing intense battles, spiritually, emotionally, or even physically, it could be because you've been chosen for something great. Why? Because the enemy doesn't waste energy attacking people who aren't a threat. If your life feels like a constant war zone, it might be because your calling is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Look at Jesus, the Son of God. From the moment he was born, there was opposition. King Herod tried to kill him as a baby. Religious leaders rejected him. And eventually, he was crucified. But all of it was part of a divine plan to bring salvation to the world. Opposition often comes as confirmation. The enemy will try to distract, discourage, or destroy you before you step fully into what God has called you to do. That could look like depression, betrayal, financial pressure, or even people suddenly turning against you for no reason. But here's the truth, if you're under attack, it's probably because you carry something powerful. And God doesn't just allow the battle, He uses it to sharpen you, strengthen your faith, and prepare you to carry His glory with humility. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember this, the pressure you're facing might be the very proof that God has marked you for something bigger than you can imagine. 6. You're drawn to purpose over popularity. When God has chosen you for success, your heart starts to crave purpose, not applause. While others chase clout, fame, or fortune, you're different. You want your life to mean something, to impact others, to align with a higher calling. This inner pull isn't about being seen, it's about being significant. You could take shortcuts. You could do what's trendy. But something inside you says, that's not why I'm here. That's a sign that your spirit is aligned with God's purpose, not the world's patterns. Think about Nehemiah in the Bible. He wasn't a prophet or a king, he was a cupbearer. But he felt a deep burden to rebuild the broken walls of Jerusalem. He didn't do it for fame. In fact, he faced opposition, mockery, and threats. But his passion wasn't rooted in popularity, it was rooted in purpose. When you're chosen by God, you begin to see life through a different lens. You ask, how can I serve? Who can I help? What legacy will I leave? That's not normal, it's supernatural awareness of the mission you're here to fulfill. If you're more interested in impact than impressing people, if you'd rather walk alone in purpose than be celebrated for something empty, that's not just maturity. That's a calling. That's evidence that God has set you apart for more. 7. You grow in wisdom beyond your years. You ever notice how people come to you for advice, even when you're not the oldest or most experienced in the room? Or how you seem to see through situations that confuse everyone else? That's not just being mature for your age, that's wisdom, and it's often a sign that God has placed a higher calling on your life. When God chooses someone for success, He doesn't just give them opportunity, He gives them insight. Because true success isn't just about elevation, it's about stewardship. And wisdom is what helps you handle the weight of what's coming. Look at Solomon. When he became king, he didn't ask God for money, fame, or power, he asked for wisdom. And because his heart was aligned with purpose, God gave him more than he asked for. That's what happens when your soul is tuned into something greater than self. Wisdom doesn't always look flashy, but it speaks volumes. It shows up in your choices, your self-control, your ability to see the long-term picture when others are chasing instant gratification. If people are constantly saying things like, "You're so wise for your age," or "How do you always know what to say?" don't brush it off. That could be a divine deposit from God, preparing you to lead, influence, or guide others in ways you don't even see yet. Because when you're chosen for success, God won't just take you there, He'll equip you for it. 8. You keep rising after every fall. This is one of the clearest signs that you've been chosen by God. No matter how many times life knocks you down, you always get back up. You may cry, you may break, you may feel like giving up, but something inside of you refuses to quit. That something is divine. Being chosen doesn't mean your life is easy. In fact, chosen people often fall hard, they face failure, betrayal, loss, and deep disappointment. But here's the difference, they don't stay down. God has placed a resilience in them that won't let them die in the pit. Just look at Job. He lost everything, his health, his wealth, even his children. But he kept his faith. And in the end, God restored him with double what he had before. Why? Because Job's fall wasn't the end of his story, it was part of the testimony. If you've been through hell and somehow you're still here, still dreaming, still praying, still pushing, that's not your strength alone. That's God's hand on your life. Falling doesn't disqualify you. In fact, every comeback you've made is evidence that there's something greater on your life. God doesn't waste your failures, He uses them to develop grit, grace, and growth. So if you've been wondering, why do I keep surviving what should have broken me? Here's your answer. Because you're chosen. And chosen ones always rise. If any of these signs resonate with you, take heart, you are not here by accident. God has chosen you for something great, and even in the midst of challenges, He's preparing you for success. Your story is far from over, and the best is yet to come. Remember, success doesn't always look like the world's version of it. True success is about fulfilling your divine purpose, overcoming obstacles, and rising again and again. You've been set apart for something extraordinary, and God will guide you every step of the way. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope this message encourages you to keep moving forward with confidence in the calling God has placed on your life. Stay strong, stay focused, and know that you are chosen for greatness.